So we all know, and I gave a big lecture on this a while ago, but I'll say it again for those who, for those who are new to this, new to the sunny side and some of our philosophies and the way we do things. The fastest way to change your life is to change your language. That's the fastest way. The fastest way. Just change, and you don't have to do a lot of things. Just like, ignorance leads to fear, fear leads to hatred, hatred leads to violence. I'll say that again. Ignorance leads to fear, fear leads to hate, hate leads to violence. You do not have to tell people to go be violent to get them to be violent. You don't have to say hateful things to make people be hateful. All you have to do is fan the ignorance. Ignorance leads to hatred. Ignorance leads to fear. Fear leads to hate. Hate leads to violence. And so if you want to incite violence, all you need to do is fan the flames of ignorance. You play on people's ignorance. And before ignorance will come some kind of weakness in someone. So you play upon someone's weakness, and the weakness is going to lead to ignorance, right? Because ignorance leads to fear, fear leads to hatred, hatred leads to violence. So once again, if you want to make people violent, all you have to do is play on their ignorance. Now, having said that, success leads to more success. Love leads to more love. And so if you change one word that you use, just one word, you're going to have a chain reaction. And so you don't have to change your entire vocabulary. You don't have to use big words. You don't have to use smart words. You don't have to use, colloquial expressions. You do whatever you want. But if you just change one word, just change, take baby steps. And just change one word, and it's going to create a chain reaction that will change your life. You will, now, as always, these aren't only just things that you say out loud to other people. Changing one or two words will change how other people perceive you. Your language will betray you. The words you choose to use and how you choose to use them. When you're doing this, people will know where you come from based on your language and choice of words, how you use those words, how you describe something. That's, people will know where you come from. They'll know your educational background. They'll know you by the words you use and how you use those in your expressions. Just like they'll know you by how you stand. They'll know you from your postures, your gesture clusters. That's how body language works. And so on one hand, that's key. So on one hand, you can, and we know ourselves reflected in the world around us. So if you change one or two words that you use today, right now, you will change your life. And you will, one, change how the world is reflected back upon you. The words you use will change how people react to you. It will change your life. It changes how people react to you. In addition to that, it changes you. So when you change one word, it will change the things that you say to yourself. So it works in both ways. It's as within, so below. As within, so below. So the things you say, it affects how people will perceive you when you change your words to others. Then you change the things that you say to yourself. It's going to change how you perceive yourself. The fastest way to change anything in this world is to change the words you use. Is to change your language. But that's not what we're talking about today. Hey, someone has a new avatar. Hey, Sue, good morning. And hey, Donna, I hope you're having a wonderful day. And Memes, good morning. So that's not the point of today. So, once again, let's do a quick recap before we get to the point. You know, you have to establish the language before you talk about it, before you use it. And so, ignorance leads to fear, fear leads to hatred, hatred leads to violence. Got it. Moving on. Next, success leads to more success. Got it. Moving on. The fastest way to change your life is to change the words that you use, to change your language. And so that's the deal. The fastest way to change your life is to change your language. And you don't have to change it all at once. You can take baby steps. 1 or 2 words that you change today will have a dramatic impact on your life. And it will impact how others perceive you, and it will impact how you perceive yourself. So that's what you do, change words. Now, here's a question. The question for today is, how do you know if you're moving in the right direction? Guys ask me this question all the time. All the time! Like every day. You've already asked me this question today. You've already asked, hey Sonny, how do I know if this is the right thing? How do I know if I should marry this guy? How do I know if this is the right thing? How do I know if this is an illusion? How do I know if my wedding is going to be okay? You guys are already asking me that today, and I'm going to tell you the answer. Not based on astrology. I'm going to tell you the answer based on something else. You monitor your words. It's not always directed action. Sometimes, remember, just as the world reflects back the things that you say and you do, and you know the world reflects back at you, you reflect your world back at them. It works in both ways, guys. Like, it works in both ways. Duh. Like, vibration, like, not only does the world reflect back yourself, you reflect back the world. So, you have to monitor yourself. We were talking about this on the channel the other night about, it was Angelica, we were talking with Angelica about different types of psychic abilities and how in certain situations it's important to monitor yourself because, you know, you might say things that happen without realizing it. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. And it's for most people who are going to watch this particular video when it's going to be completely irrelevant. You have to monitor your own language. Layla, it's absolutely like Layla says it's like fine-tuning yourself into a radio station with the least static. It's exactly like that, but it's tricky. And thanks, eSub, that's really sweet. So here's the action. You have to monitor yourself. Why did you say that? You know, you're going to say something, and then you're going to be like, why did I say that? That's not a phrase I would use. Why are you calling people's names? You know, why are you doing that? Like, we had a big conversation about this before, about, you know, people call people names because they're frustrated and they can't, you know, their mind chakra and their heart chakra comes to they meet at the throat and it comes out. And when that thing inside of you is frustrated, it's going to call names. You know, you don't hate. We already talked about this. You know, you don't hate. You might hate. You probably don't hate. Why are you calling someone names? Why are you doing that? Hey, Freshie, what's up? Like, why? Why are you calling people names, man? Like, or why did you start using that phrase? You know, well, I met this girl. She's pretty cool. She talks like this. She's a bit of a hater, you know. She's got a little bit of a narc vibe, you know, but she's kind of a little bit nice in a skirt, you know, so kind of like vibing. We're in rapport, you know. I like, you know, we do nice, you know, she's cool. So, like, she says some things, so we glean off of each other. And maybe that's how the language creeped in. Maybe. So, or maybe you just wrote a book. Maybe you just read a book, or you watched a movie, or you saw a YouTube video where some cat was using some far out language, and you were like, you know, I dig that turn of phrase. I dig that use of words. It's not only turn of phrase or use of words, you know. Words are dangerous. So it's not just turn of phrase, use of words. But ask yourself, why are you talking like that? You know, I'm not telling you to stop, You know, I'm not. No, not at all. Do whatever you want. I really don't care. I'm just answering your question. How do you know? And then you got to say, well, I don't know. I'm not usually a hater. I don't usually call people names like that. I thought I was more spiritually evolved than that. So you got to, you know, all I'm just saying is, if you're mindful, if you're self-aware, if you're truly independent, then you'll find the water doesn't care about the fish. Like, does it? Does the water care about the fish? Seriously? Does the air care about you? Does it? Not really. Good morning, Mohor. The air doesn't care about you. Does water care about you? No. But, you know, just think about it. You know, when you ascend, you know, as you ascend, as you move through things, you know, try to keep your shiz together. Anyways, it's not the point. The point is, how do you know? And one of the ways to know what's going on is your language. When you fall in love, it changes you. People who say, never change for someone else, that is very selfish. Single people say that. Hateful people say that. When you fall in love, you automatically change. Your language will change. The things you do will change. You change. Like, that's a duh. Like, that's a duh. And so, hey, happy birthday, hubbies. So your language will change as you change. But the answer is to check yourself. And one of the ways to check yourself is to check your language. And as AKA is saying, you evolve. Yeah, with a heart. As you evolve, your language is going to change. As you mature, your language will change. As you expand your mind, your language will change. And so, you like, but anyways, monitor yourself. That's how you, the way to monitor it is, one of the ways to monitor, to know if you're on the right path, is to check your language. Now there's one more. There's one more thing. When you're watching somebody, and when you're watching somebody, you should be a little critical of the language that they use. We talked about this a while ago with the blind leading the stupid. And we talked about the war of angels. And we talked, you know, we're not living in an era of, or a time period of false prophets. From the very beginning of time, there has always been false prophets. Always. So we've always been living in false prophets, so you just got to roll with it. And that's not the point. The point is how to recognize, you know, some of these things. You know, so how to be wary, like be wary of this. And the truth is not only in the details; it's found in the language. You know, listen to the things. What would Lucifer, the angel, say as he was starting the revolution? You know, what are some of the things that the devil said? You know, I'm not religious on this, it's not a religious channel. But what would they say? What did some of the things that they said? What did Lucifer say, you know, to stir up the angels? Did he say, you know, you guys are blind? Have you ever heard that say? Lucifer would say, you guys are blind. Don't you see what's going on? Our side is right. We're the angels. We're the beautiful ones. We're the light. That's what he said. I'm thinking that's what he said. So isn't that what Lucifer said? You know, we're the right, you know, we're the strong. We're the smart. We're the light in this universe. We're the blessed. We were here first. And so, you know, those are some of the things that these people say. And then they say things, then Lucifer went on, you know, he's saying things like, they're wrong. You know, they're wrong. They don't see. They're not as worthy as us. You know, they're in the fault. They're going to take us down. They're blind. You know, and so we have this guy saying we're awesome, and then we say and saying everyone else sucks, and he's calling them names and stuff. So be careful. So be careful. If you're using, or you hear someone using the same words or speaking with the same word patterns as someone like Lucifer. So that guy, you know, well, we are the clothes we wear, and we are the language we choose to use. We are our expressions, and you are mimicking, you know, that person. When they speak like that, they are behaving or walking in the footprints of, you know, Lucifer. I didn't say evil. I didn't say false prophet. I didn't say anything like that. I didn't say darkness. I didn't say darkness. I didn't say anything like that. I didn't say, you know, I didn't say anything like that. I just said, if you're using Lucifer's words, you're walking in the footsteps. You know, so just think about it. If you hear those words, then that's what's going on. And that's the action. Straight. That's the straight action. Alright. Alright, so let's recap. Ignorance, which we all are, leads to fear, which we all are. Ignorance leads to fear, which leads to hatred. Hatred leads to violence. Get rid of it. Knowledge is the answer. Actually, light is the answer. I'll tell you one more thing. Do you guys know? Oh, maybe we'll talk about that another time. So, then, okay, so the next thing. Success leads to more success. Next. We know ourselves in the world reflected around us. That we know. Next. We know ourselves as we interpret ourselves. Okay. You know. Next. The words we choose. The fastest way to change your life is to change your language, change your words. You don't have to change a lot, just change one or two, and the world will treat you differently depending on the words you use. In addition to that, you will look at yourself differently based on the words that you choose to use. Next, and finally, how do we know if things are working? We'll know things are working because we're going to change, you know, because you're going to recognize, you're going to self-evaluate your own language. You're going to have self-awareness. Why did I say that? That's not something that I would say. You know, what's going on? You know, that's how you know yourself. You know if it's working. Also, you see what's going on with other people, the change other people are going through. Why did he say that? Why is he calling people names like that? What's the deal? What's his frustration? Where is the ignorance leading to fear, leading to hatred? Where is that hatred coming from to make someone say those things? So check yourself. You know, just check yourself. And that's the action. That's a long-winded way to say, hey man, what's going on? Why you gotta check? You gotta check yourself. Why you know, you don't need to be throwing stones because, quite frankly, you know, like, just walk away. Just walk away. It's that simple. Stop taking it all so personally. And that's the action. Everybody cool? Okay. Let's get on with things for today.